Hi there, and welcome to Mom Babes, where every mom is a babe. And if you're like, Christina, I don't feel like a babe, we have been packing forever and we cannot get out of this house. Then this channel is especially for you. I make videos for moms who are creatives. And if you're like, I'm not a creative, that's a lie, because raising a live human being is the most creative thing that there is. I would love it so much if you would subscribe to the channel, come hang out with me every Thursday, and if you ding the bell, you can get notified each time I release a new video. It is so fun for me to have you here. It really means a lot. Thanks so much. So today I am talking about something I discovered very recently. I did not know this, but you can put your phone into grayscale. And this was something I recently discovered, and I thought, I'm just gonna try this to see if it helps. I'm always looking for ways to limit my screen time and to help my brain. I did it for a week. It was long enough to get a feel for it. In this video, I'm gonna tell you my reflections and experiences, and later in the video, I'm gonna tell you how to put your phone into it for iPhone. Sorry, I have an iPhone. If you have a different phone, I'm sure it's pretty simple to look up. So if you're looking just how to switch it, you can skip to that chapter in the video. And let's dive in. What is grayscale? Grayscale is basically taking all the colors off of your phone so that it is in black, white, and gray, and that's all you see. My initial observations with this within the first day or so was, one, it was way easier on my eyes. I physically felt my eyes relax while I was switching from color to gray. I know my eye doctor talks about blue light and how it's really harsh and hard on our eyes. And if you've ever had glasses that you use for a screen to look at a computer that take out the blue light, you'll understand that feeling of like, oh, okay, not as much stimulus. So I immediately noticed that my eyes were physically able to relax while I was in grayscale mode. I noticed it was much more relaxing in that it was a break from visual stimulus. I'm someone who's very sensitive to auditory, physical stimulus in general. So as someone who is very sensitive to stimulus, I noticed visually if I was looking at something or going through different apps on my phone, specifically going in and out of several apps, it was much less stimulus and it's less information that my brain was processing. So in a way, it's a more relaxing way to use your phone. I also immediately noticed that there are no red dot notifications. And if you're like me and my personality and you see a red dot, you want to go click on it. It was this magical moment where all the red dots disappeared. They're still there, but they're a gray instead of a red. And so if I look for them, I can see them, but it's not this immediate, you open your phone and like that anxiety of like a red dot. So that was actually really lovely. I noticed it was much more difficult to navigate through the phone. I know that lots of money and lots of genius is put into making these phones very usable and very attractive and lovely and I just want to be on my phone. It does take away a little bit of that glitter to the experience. And I didn't realize how much I used color to navigate my phone, how much my brain associated certain apps with certain colors. And so it does take more time. It's a little more cumbersome to use it, to find things, to click on things. You have to begin to adjust in that way. For me, that wasn't a deterrent because my whole point of trying this was to get off the phone. And so if I make it more difficult and not as enjoyable to use the phone, then that's gonna make me less engaged with my phone. I feel grayscale would be really great too if you are trying to be less on social media type apps that are very colorful and bright and vibrant. If you put it into grayscale, it makes them less visually appealing. And so there's obviously still the information there if you wanted to go on to get information, but the pictures aren't as pretty. I mean, not that they're not as pretty, but they're not as colorful. And so I feel like that leads to less time spent on those types of apps that are your big time suckers. So if you're trying to create boundaries around your time and get off your phone more, especially in the social media area, I think grayscale would be a good idea. Also, you may be the type of person that's like, I'm not gonna leave my phone, I'm gonna have my phone on me. But if your phone's on you, if it's in grayscale, then it's a little less tempting. Those were all my very initial, just doing it right away observations that I noticed the day of. As I began to use it throughout the week, I kept it in grayscale for the sake of this experiment, trying to notice when do I come out of it. I thought I was going to come out of it more than I did because I like to take a lot of photos of the kids. And so I thought, oh, I need to come out of grayscale to take this picture. But one day I was like, I'm just gonna try to take it with the grayscale on. And so I was taking photos and videos of the kids with the grayscale on, and it actually didn't bother me in a way. The black and white kind of gave the video a focus, and I kind of actually really enjoyed it. It was more of an artistic experience to take the photos and the film in black and white. Obviously, you can take the filter off, and they're actually not in that black and white grayscale, but I was surprised that I didn't come out of that mode to take photos and videos like I thought I would. Throughout the week, I did come out of Grayscale 4 was to edit photos. So if I was going back and editing photos and videos, then I came out of Grayscale to do that because I wanted to see what the finished product would actually look like. And there were a couple educational videos that I do for the kids on the phone, and part of that is learning your colors. So it's kind of hard to do that in Grayscale. So I did come out of it for that. But those were the two things, and I tried to be very diligent about afterwards going back into Grayscale. I had fantasies that, oh, if I put my phone in Grayscale, my kids will no longer be interested in it because it's not colorful. That was not true at all. The kids still absolutely try to steal my phone. They are into my phone, probably because you're into your phone, your kids are into your phone, and it's fun to touch and move things. And so unfortunately, I wish I could tell you, if you put your phone in Grayscale, your kids won't be into it anymore, but that is not the case. The most beautiful part of this little journey that I enjoyed so much was over the time of even just a week, my brain began to associate my phone with black and white and grayscale, and I didn't even realize this was happening. And I'd have this moment where I would get off my phone, which was in grayscale, and look up or look around the world, and it was like I was stepping out of this dingy digital world into the real world of color. So as my phone became grayscale, the real actual world was this vibrant, living, colorful world. Your real world comes into color, and your brain wants to be there more, wants to look around the real world more than it wants to look at a black and white phone. It was this magical reflective moment of coming back into the real world, your real space. I didn't realize how much my brain associated my phone with being in the world, and that's not real. So it was very eye-opening and very refreshing to have that contrast of, oh no, now my brain thinks that this is a dull place, whereas my phone used to be an exciting, vibrant place. It's now a dull place of color. Still dense in information, but dull in color. And the real world is where the beautiful, visual, candy, pretty treats, wonderful atmosphere is, not in your screen. And kind of I got into this mode of being excited to go back into grayscale, which sounds really silly, and probably you're watching this so foreign, but it is a more relaxing atmosphere to be on your phone. It almost, in a way, worked backwards. I almost wanted to be on my phone more because it was in grayscale, because it didn't feel like so much stimulus, but that's just my personality. If you were going back and forth in less than the span of a couple hours, I think that would get really annoying, really repetitive. So depending on what you use your phone for, like I said, everybody's lifestyle is different. If you're on your phone and it has to be in color because your job is something in color on your phone, then this would be something that you would do off hours outside of work. I'd say you'd want to do a span of, I leave it on all day, and I have very short times where I turn it off to see it in color. If you were going to do this to actually have it work and actually have it be effective, you would want to make sure that you are doing it for at least a few hours at a time. If you're only gonna turn it off for 10 minutes, I don't feel like it's gonna make that much of an impact. I'm gonna take you through, if you have an iPhone like me, how to turn it into grayscale, how to go in the settings. When you are on the home screen of your phone, what you are going to do is you're gonna click on settings, and you will scroll down just a little bit until you find accessibility. It's a picture of a little stick figure person inside of circle, and you click on accessibility. And you will look over to display and text size. It's the third one down. It's pretty easy to find. So you'll click on display and text size, and you will scroll down to almost the bottom. The third from the bottom says color filters, and it should say off. So if you click on it, you can do the toggle, and you'll see there are a bunch of colored pencils in various colors. And when you hit the toggle, the automatic pick is grayscale. There are also other color filters on here for tints. Maybe if you're colorblind, that would be helpful. I don't really know what they're for. Like I said, I've only gotten as far as the grayscale. At the bottom, there is an intensity lever where you can move it back and forth to see how much intensity you want to put. How many things are you hitting? So you have to hit settings 1, accessibility is 2, display text size is 3, color filters 4, and then toggle 5. So 5 buttons that you have to hit to get in or out of it every single time, which I think is very cumbersome. So I'm going to teach you guys a shortcut. You can see here on my screen that I have color and grayscale right here. I'm switching back and forth. It doesn't show on your phone, but I'll show you how to do it. You go into shortcuts, which is this app right here. And then you will go to add, which is the little plus sign, and add action. Then you're gonna hit the toggle to apps on the top right. Scroll down until you get to settings. And in here, you're gonna scroll until you see set color filters. And color filters on at the top means that grayscale is on. So if you click on this little arrow at the very, very top, it'll come down and give you some options. I'm gonna rename it, and instead we're gonna call this grayscale so I know what it is. And then you can head to home screen and click add. You can do the same thing for doing the color. Instead of having the color filter on, you would have it off and name it colors, and it will appear on your screen like this. There is also do not disturb mode, which I use all the time. Extremely helpful for if you're in the middle of something trying to do a project and you are so tempted every time you get a text, you want to be like, oh, who texted me? To put on that do not disturb and put the phone face down so you can't see if it lights up has been super helpful. And also downtime, where you can schedule a time where you're away from your screen, I think are really helpful. Overall, my screen time between when I was in color and when I was in grayscale didn't change. So it didn't affect the amount of time that I actually spent on my phone, but I think visually it was much more relaxing, and it's something I'm going to continue to do in the future. So I think that says enough. If you've never tried it, it might be worth trying just to see if you like it. You may find that switching back and forth is cumbersome, or for what you use your phone for, it's not helpful. But if you are sensitive to stimulus, if you're looking for a way to relax your eyes, if you want a little break from your screen, it might be something worth trying. Thanks guys for joining me for this quick video on grayscale and my experience, and I hope you try it out. If you do, let me know how it goes. And if no one has told you yet today, you are doing a good job. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will catch you next time on Mom Babes.